The following episode of the Maui Chamber of Commerce's Business Matters was originally broadcast on March 4th, 2025. And now, here's your host, President of the Maui Chamber of Commerce, Pam Toompaw.
Clients navigate their financial futures with confidence. His passion for success comes not just from achieving his goals, but from empowering others to reach theirs. Theo teaches clients how to be more efficient with their money at both seminars and one-on-one consultations. He is a West Point graduate and military veteran, husband, father, and Maui resident since 2018. And Theo, tell everybody how many children you have.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I have 7 kids.
I think with all that you've got going on, that is a tribute to your amazing contribution to our community and to your family and to helping people move forward. So great to have you on the show this morning.
Thanks, Pam. It's great to be here. And I mean, really, it's just about creating a future for my kids and for all of our keiki here that we can be proud of. And so trying to be a good role model as much as possible.
Yes, and you are. You are an excellent role model. Well, let's get into this because, you know, as I know you know, and the chamber. I also want to say that Theo is also on the Maui Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. So it's so great to have you on talking about, you know, how we can move positively forward and do some planning. You know, we've seen so many ripple effects of the Maui wildfires that we're still seeing today. Can you talk a little bit about, you know, what you're seeing in the financial arena on how this is impacting different industries and some of the recommendations you're sharing with them?
Yeah, so it's, you know, we're kind of still reeling from COVID and businesses were just getting up and running, and all of a sudden you have, you know, we get hit with wildfires. And so it's been extremely difficult for a lot of small businesses here. And, you know, we love entrepreneurs because they're the lifeblood of our country. They're the ones that create jobs and ability for people to live here. And so it really hurts when businesses are suffering. So interestingly enough, we started our company in 2007, right before the market crash. And the idea behind it was, if it's all right, I'll just share a little bit about that because I think it's a really awesome story. We just felt that the financial industry was very much about the delivery of a financial product, an investment product or an insurance product or something like that. And not bad, but a lot of our clients, especially small business owners, had questions about taxes and real estate and mortgage selection and student loans. And the financial industry in general just kind of says, well, you know, we can offer this to you and go talk to somebody else. And so we really wanted to be that financial quarterback for people and help orchestrate the team of advisors around them. And I think that's really important to small businesses because, you know, they do what they do best, which is go out there and, you know, manufacture products or provide a service for people. And so the last thing that they want to do or have expertise in is, you know, finance or real estate or taxes. And so not only having good experts in those fields, but having a coordinated effort is so important to the success of the business owner.
No, it's so true. And again, saving them a great amount of time, right? You know, again, you know what you know when you're in business, and to have so many other diverse arenas impact your business, from, as you said, the real estate and all of these other things, to be able to bring all those experts to the table is such a tremendous time saver. And what a great relief to offer those kind of services to the businesses.
Yeah, thank you. And actually, sometimes you're getting different advice from different people. And so then that exacerbates the problem because you're getting advice from one person and then that contradicts advice you're getting from somebody else. And so the last thing we have is a ton of time. And so just being able to bring that all into one place truly resonated with people. And so where we started, you know, in Honolulu in 2007, there was 4 of us at the time. And now going on 18 years later, we have multiple offices throughout the mainland. We have about over 300 advisors and 50 staff. So we've really grown into a large regional company at this point in time. And we're proud of the fact that we're homegrown in Hawaii and expanded eastward. Usually it's the other way around, where you have mainland companies open up offices here. And so 6 years ago, I'm from Oahu originally, and 6 years ago we decided to move the family out to Maui. We felt like it was a better place to raise the kids, and we could really create an impact in the community, and we've loved it so far. It's been amazing to be here. And bringing it back to the wildfires, our commitment is to help people stay here. Like it hurts us every time we have to help somebody figure out how they're going to move off island, and that further hurts the business owner, because it's hard enough to find good employees, and now you have the labor pool is shrinking because the ripple effect of the fires, where people that were already, debating, do we stay, do we go, and now they're being pushed out of Hawaii, and it's really, really sad, and it hurts business owners furthermore, because they have an even harder time finding good people.
It's very true, and I know you've been watching this, of course, at the Chamber. We've been watching it. And we're all working so hard to save as many families and keep them here as possible. We know, and a couple of years ago, the Native Hawaiian Chamber of Commerce and other groups went across the mainland to other people who used to be from Hawaii and went to Las Vegas and talked to families, and went to different states and talked to families. And once they move, it's so hard for them to ever come back. And so it's great to know that they have you and your team in their corner, and the Chamber also is to help them look at how they can stay and look for ways to do that. And from the, you giving them the critical information about the financial perspective and helping them consider their options is tremendous, because, as you said, we all want to keep our local families here in Hawaii and help them find a way to navigate until till the economy rebuilds and they can come back and get back to where they were.
Yeah, and this is an important time for businesses to, with a good team and a good approach, not cut corners and not cut back. This is the easiest time where people might cut spending. And I'm not saying not to evaluate your cash flow. I mean, we're ultimately cash flow experts, but business owners are an expert in their business. And the one thing I tell business owners is that you can take calculated risk in your business. You can determine whether or not it makes sense to, open up another shop or hire another employee. And this is where I encourage people, and same as in 2007 and 2008, when it was really, really difficult for businesses to spend any money because they were struggling so much. But that's where the people that stayed and toughed it out and reinvested and maybe purchased a competitor are the ones that are standing, and they're emerging well from the disaster.
Well, and that's a really good point, because we are seeing that, or we're seeing some mergers, we're seeing people buying out, their competitors. And there's new, again, as people are selling, there's new opportunities that open up. So that's a tremendous point, to have that kind of expertise to help you look at things that you, for maybe a very long time, were not able to consider. But now in this time with these new opportunities, your advice will help them open up to those possibilities. The other thing is,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that one of the things that we specialize in is exit strategies for business owners, and that's something that oftentimes people are like, oh well, I'll retire in 3 years, and then you see them 2 years later at a Christmas party, and they're like, yeah, I think I'm going to retire in 3 years. And it's the same conversation, because nobody's helped them figure out how they're going to exit. And not only that, but what their business is actually worth. They put their whole life's blood, sweat, and tears into a business, and nobody's helped them analyze what it is worth, what they could get, whether they sell it to an outsider or an insider, maybe to employees. And so that's something that we do a lot of, and we're seeing a lot of it right now with private equity that's coming in to purchase companies or competitors. So we're happy to help people kind of get an idea of what their business might be worth, because that's a good starting point. And, one thing that I want to let people know is that business exit strategy is really just good business strategy. Whether you decide to sell it or keep it, it just provides more value to you, to your families, and to your community.
Absolutely. In fact, when I used to help people to get their business started, one of the things I would always say is, and how are you going to exit your business? And when you would talk to these entrepreneurs, they'd be stunned, like, no, I'm just trying to get started. What do you mean, get out of my business? And I said, well, are you going to run it for 100 years? How's, what's the plan? And then they would say, oh, I see what you mean. And I would say, yes, as you start, just keep this in mind. You need to, what is the plan? What is your goal? How long do you expect to do it, so that you can start being aware of what an exit strategy is and think about that. So as you're getting ready toward that avenue, however the strategy is, whether it's turning it over to your children or what have you, or selling it, keep that in mind and be thinking about that. And you've got the right advice to help them. And that's critically important right now. You mentioned earlier, again, employees, and right, we've seen a shrinking labor pool after the pandemic and after the wildfires. Tell us a little bit about the strain that you're hearing. We all know that the strain for local employers. What are you hearing, and what are some of the things that you're advising your clients to do during this time?
Yeah, so that's a good question, and I think it's impacting different businesses differently. You have the tourism industry, which I think has been impacted more than most. Restaurant industry. Then you have construction industry, which is unfortunately they're busy. You have the medical industry, and you have a lot of different industries. So the impacts are going to be felt differently, and I think one of the things that whether you're a business owner or not, is critically important is financial education. And, one of the things that we do for many of our clients when we're working with the business owners and, doing retirement plans and whatever else we're helping them with, we don't want to just come in there. So often you have, retirement plan people that come in and help the employees, determine how much they should save into a retirement plan. And nothing wrong with that, but it's really just a small piece of the pie. And the financial education piece is what's often missing. And so you have, your business owner that's trying to encourage their employees to save more, but oftentimes they'd rather, spend money now because we live in an instant gratification society. So really just helping people understand that their future self is going to be happier with them if they make smarter decisions today. And it doesn't have to be hugely, huge decisions that they're making, but small changes in their life are going to create massive changes in their future. So I think that's one of the things is really just, educating people to just be smarter with their money, to make smarter decisions. The amount of money that we spend at just eating out or going to Starbucks, and not saying that people shouldn't enjoy their life or support local businesses, especially the small businesses, but also realize the ripple effect that has, and it's $10 coffee nowadays might that's maybe $200 a month if you, depending on how often you're going, and it's $2,400 a year. And if you were able to put that money aside in the market or wherever and get some return, that's going to have a massive impact in your future.
Very true, and really important. And I love that you are not just looking at here's the retirement plan options, but educating, helping to educate the business and their employees. And I will say so many times, too, I really hear that these days. And I think it really started after the Great Recession, but I really feel like many employees, especially when you've got a business owner who's matching your contribution, if let's just take 3%, if they're going to match your contribution, but you only choose to put in 1%, then you only get matched 1% because they're matching what you're contributing. So I love that you're educating them on how to maximize this and the investment, and yes, get them, to think about different ways that they're spending their money and look at how they can save a little bit more on their own to get that leverage of the match. I think that's fantastic. We are still looking at the tourism downturn after the pandemic and after the wildfires. As you're looking forward. And of course, we're also watching what's happening in Washington as well, and some of the relief efforts and funding that might be impacted. But what do you see as some of the challenges that industries are going to continue to face in the next few years?
Well, I think the thing that's ever present is change, and whether it's disasters, whether it's change in administration, laws. There's a lot of things that are still going to be coming down the pipeline with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act and some of the sunsetting that's going to happen and potentially, or might happen and impact people at the end of the year. There's obviously upheaval right now with everything that's happening, and bottom line is we can't change it. All we can do is focus on who we are and how we're being and how we're investing locally. So, I can't predict the future. I can't predict what's going to happen with all of the changes that are happening. But I know that small business is still going to be around, and people are going to need the products and services that people are providing. And so I think being fearful is not the answer. It's really just looking at what can be done within someone's organization, within someone's household, to be better, to make smarter decisions. Like especially for individuals now, just save. When people have something to fall back on and have a cushion, it provides them a little bit more of a sense of security. And when people don't have any money saved up, then it makes that problem a lot more problematic. They're having to put things on credit cards, and now they're trying to get out of debt, and that becomes a bigger problem. So, not trying to evade the question, but I don't really know what's going to happen with what's happening in Washington and in the world.
Yeah. Well, and as you say, I think you said it very well. Actually, we can't predict it, and change is going to happen. And right now, change, especially at the federal level, seems to be happening very quickly on many different fronts. So it's a lot to take in. But I love what you said, really, right? That small businesses are here for a reason. They serve the needs of our community, and they're not going away. We're always going to have small businesses. So, I love the advice, which is
and actually, and small businesses, they tend to run efficiently. The bigger the organization, the more call it wasteful spending there is, and I actually think that's not necessarily a negative, that we're evaluating things at different levels, not just within the government, but I think that's something that people should be doing within their own organizations. And when we're working with business owners, we're striving for efficiency and helping them not cut back necessarily, but figure out where their most vital dollars are going, and is that being effectively spent?
Right. Yeah, excellent point. Excellent point. It's really, looking at that and looking at your priorities and looking at how you can spend it in the most impactful way. I think that's excellent. As we're talking about uncertainties, again, what you just said is some of those ways. What are the other ways that people can kind of safeguard themselves? Of course, at the chamber, we've been trying to remind people about, again, disasters are not a one-shot deal. We need to plan ahead and be have disaster preparedness plans, both in our homes and in our businesses, and be ready and prepared. What are some of the other things that, again, you mentioned savings and looking at being financially literate and helping employees understand what they can do. What are some of the other programs that you teach people so that people can safeguard themselves as change will inevitably come?
So as I mentioned, the future is unpredictable and nothing is guaranteed. So part of it is looking at where we're being efficient, and not saying that people shouldn't save for retirement and everything, but people should look at, especially if you're young, do we 40 years away or 30 years away seems so far that oftentimes that prevents people from making decisions, because they'll say, I have a lot of time to think about that, so I'll wait. And the cost of waiting is huge. But when people start saving for more immediate needs, whether it's buying a home, that's something that we help a lot of our clients figure out how to do. And then I know for a lot of people that might seem so far out of reach, but with a good team and a good strategy, it's not out of the cards. One thing that people can do, and again, if you're a business owner or not, is protecting yourself against what we call predators of wealth. And it's making sure that we have proper car insurance, proper homeowners insurance, and liability insurance. And unfortunately, we live in a litigious society, so we want to make sure that everything we work hard for to build and everything that we continue to work hard for is properly protected. And some of those insurance doesn't prevent bad things from happening. It just prevents bad things from devastating what you've worked hard for. And so having good insurance people as part of your team is really important. We do some of it in-house, but we look at a lot of other great quality professionals in Maui. That's another thing. A lot of times people think that they have to go to the mainland to get some of these services. But when I look around, I see just incredible people here locally. And I think it's vital to support local business. So
this gets into what you were sharing about the diversity of the services that you bring to the table. We were talking about how you help people look at, all of these things that help just insulate their business. And we were talking about the importance of insurance that protects against impacts on doesn't stop disasters, but protects against impacts on the wealth that they've created in their business. So please continue to share how, and then we were also talking about helping people plan for their homes and work on planning for their homes. So please share a little bit more about how your complete services really help to protect the business and look at these long-term strategies to keep them thriving.
Yeah, so I think financial clarity is so important. Like it's important to understand where you're starting from and what cards you're holding in your hand so that you can play the most powerful hand. The protection aspect is an important part. It's part of our process is focusing on protection first. It's like building a solid foundation. When bad things happen, nobody really cares about how the investments have performed. They just want to know that they're going to be okay. And so it's critically important to help people de-risk the potential things that could destroy their futures. So that's one thing. And then preparing to buy for a house, again, it's important to have that concerted team effort and helping people understand what they could qualify for, and helping people understand, do we just blindly put money in a retirement plan because that's what somebody told us, or do we maybe put some money aside for a more immediate purchase of a piece of property or something else that might happen in the next 3 to 5 years versus the next 20 to 30 years? If people are good savers, whether it's in a retirement plan or outside of a retirement plan, if people are good savers, their future is going to take care of themselves. It's obviously not guaranteed that we're going to make it to 65 because life isn't guaranteed. But the future is going to be a lot more secure.
Yes, absolutely. And again, I always get back to our youth and wishing that we had more programs early on to help them understand, finances and money and savings and the importance of that. I think that that's critically important for us to pass on to the youth. So all of these things, I'm thrilled with the comprehensive approach that you folks have been taking for a very long time to look at this holistically. And you're also, as I mentioned in your bio, you're going out and you're teaching seminars and programs to help people become more aware. Can you talk a little bit about those activities and if you have something coming up in the near future?
Yes. Yeah, thank you. So actually, we have something coming up this week. Our company-wide is putting this on, a webinar that we're doing. It's on the 6th. And I'm happy to share information. If people want, they can reach out to me. We also have some seminars coming up locally. We're doing something on retirement planning for people that are close to retirement or maybe recently in retirement, and that'll be at Humble Kitchen. So we're going to do a series of these on different topics, whether it's asset protection, whether it's tax strategy, and we're not going to be doing all of it. We're going to bring in some of our partners to help us to deliver this message as a team. And so if people are interested in that, I'm happy to share my email, my assistant's email, so that we can get them on if they'd like more information.
Absolutely. Well, let's take a minute. Give everybody your email and your assistant's email and where they can find your website and look up more.
Yeah, so my email is Theo.Stiller. So it's Theo, like Theo, but it's Theo. Theo.Stiller, Stiller, at Westpac Wealth, WESTPACWEALTH.com. And then my assistant locally is Keana, Keana.Ball, BALL, at westpacwealth.com. And that's our website as well, is westpacwealth.com.
That's fantastic. Well, it's very exciting that you have different opportunities for people to come learn more, take them in different segments. So they're going to have an opportunity to get a wealth of training coming up in the great series coming forward. And we just really want to thank you for all that you're doing. You're a tremendous resource on our board of directors. You're a tremendous resource for our community. And really, the way that you're reaching out and offering these classes to people to help them move forward is fantastic and deeply needed at this time. So thank you for all that you do for our community, and thank you for sharing this morning on Business Matters. We truly appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me, Pam, and we appreciate everything that you and Amber do at the Chamber. I think often people don't realize the scope of what you guys do, and we're greatly appreciative, and I'm honored to help.
Oh, thank you so much. And that's true. Or people think we're a much bigger staff than we are. Thank you so much for that. Theo, it's great talking to you this morning, and we'll be connecting soon.
Likewise. Have a great day. Aloha.
You too. Aloha. All right. Well, it's wonderful to have Theo on this morning. And as he pointed out, it looks like Theo as it's spelled, but it is Theo is how he pronounces his name. And reach out to him. I really encourage you to reach out to him or Keana by email. Find out what they're doing. And again, great resources helping companies in a very holistic way, from everything from what you're doing now, what you're planning for the next, 40 years out or more, what you're looking at in terms of an exit plan. Great strategies. And again, exit plan might be a lot of people think exit plan and you're suggesting that somebody sell their business. That's not what it means. It means planning for what you're going to do. Maybe, again, you might be retiring and then passing it on to your employees and doing an employee-owned company, or to your children or to other family members. It's just knowing what the thought process is and what the goal is. And the best part is with planning, right? It helps you tremendously in the near and long term, but plans can always be changed, right? Things are going to happen. Dynamics are going to change. And we know for a fact, especially after we've gone through the Great Recession, after we've gone through COVID, after we've now, continuing, the wildfires are over, but we're continuing to go through the recovery process. We know that people with great planning are better able to pivot and are better able to know what their resources are, make decisions quickly if need be. It just is a great way to, help with your business sustainability. So I invite everybody to take advantage of what Theo is sharing with you and to connect with him and his team at Westpac Wealth. So, Paul, do we have Drew on?
As a matter of fact, we do.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Well, Drew, give me just a moment. I'd love to introduce you. We have Drew Mossbarger, who is president of Pacific Energy, and he is a seasoned expert in construction and property development. He and his wife, Melanie, are proud parents of 5 boys and residents of Haiku. Drew and Melanie have extensive backgrounds in construction and property development and are driven by their commitment to sustainability for the island, which we love. When they discovered Pacific Energy, they were drawn to the company's commitment to customer service and a sustainable future. It's locally owned since 2010, and Pacific Energy continues to prioritize customer service and a cleaner, more energy-efficient future for Hawaii. Good morning, Drew. How are you? And welcome to the show.
Good morning. It's really great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's our great pleasure. Well, as we are working towards Hawaii very high and on purpose, we wanted to be a leader in the nation on, with our energy goals. Can you tell us about the latest news in solar energy and what's happening in that arena, and what are some of the possible tariffs that might impact that, and federal and state tax incentives?
Absolutely. Well, right now there is in the solar industry a lot of concern around the tariffs that were recently implemented, 20% on Chinese goods and 25% on Canadian and Mexican goods coming in. And there's also some question on the 30% federal tax credit from the Inflation Reduction Act on whether or not that will carry forward. Fortunately, even though those could be big headwinds for solar, we've secured a sizable amount of inventory so that customers that choose to act now, they can avoid these tariffs and also secure the federal tax credit. So there's really no better time than right now to be evaluating solar to take advantage of these incentives. Hawaii's electric utility is one of the lowest rated in the nation as far as cost and pollution. So solar energy in Hawaii is a wise investment with or without incentives. Residential systems here typically pay for themselves within 5 years and have a lifetime value exceeding $200,000. And commercial systems provide even better returns. Most systems we put in are paying for themselves in just under a year and provide a lifetime value of over $1 million. So it just makes so much financial sense here with instability in our grid, continuing rising prices for the grid. So it makes the most economic sense of all the states.
Wow. I'm floored to know those numbers in terms of the lifetime savings that you're getting, and the quick payback return. That's phenomenal to hear, and some of those numbers I haven't heard people discuss for quite some time. So I'm glad to hear. Sometimes we're just talking about homes, so I appreciate you sharing about the commercial information as well. This is a good time, and I appreciate that you brought in a lot of inventory to buffer us from these tariffs.
Well, it was clear that this was coming, so we took advantage of making sure that we could secure as much as possible to protect our customers and hedge against the tariffs that ultimately ended up materializing. Hopefully, that war will end. The tariff war will end soon, but for now, we've got inventory, and we'd be delighted to help customers take advantage of that.
Fantastic. So as we are reaching out to people and letting them know again about that we've got solar opportunities are still tremendous in Hawaii. Of course, we've got great sun exposure. So as homeowners and commercial companies are looking at moving into solar, what kind of things should they know when selecting a solar installer? What other factors should they be considering?
Well, one of the first things is reputation. The solar industry has a long history of companies coming and going. So really finding a company who has a proven track record, who has great customer reviews, the past behavior is one of the best indicators of future performance. And so really looking at how long the company's been around and how well customers have responded. How well do they take care of their customers? I'd say that's really one of the top concerns or focuses. SolarReviews.com is one of the largest independent reviewers of solar companies, and they're a great resource to go in. They have a whole page just dedicated to Hawaii-based companies, so I'd highly recommend taking a look there. And then the other thing to evaluate is whether or not to have a customer-owned system or a leased system. And leased systems can be a good deal for customers that have a low tax burden, so they really couldn't take advantage of the tax credits and incentives, or who might be credit challenged. But beyond that, they tend to be a poorer option if you do have a higher tax burden. Because the lease systems can have a negative impact on your home value because you get locked in to a particular leasing company that may or may not be good at servicing your system, and so you're kind of at their mercy. Where an owned system, you get to take advantage of the full tax advantage. It adds about, on average, 5% to your home value. You fully own the system, and if there's service issues, you're not at the mercy of the leasing company to get those fixed. And that also goes back to the reputation of the company that you pick. Solar systems are pretty robust these days, but components do fail, and you really want a company that has a commitment to servicing the systems they've installed, not just getting it on your roof, but really taking care of it for the life of the system. We're the only company on Maui that has a full service team. So we have a team that's dedicated solely to going out and servicing systems. In fact, we now service systems that we didn't install because customers are unable to get timely support from the original installer. So I'd say really it's that reputation and the company's commitment to service to make sure, this is a big investment to put in your home, and you want to make sure that you are able to take full value of that.
Absolutely. I love hearing that. So I think some of these things are getting to my next question. And you've already started to answer that for me, which is, what sets Pacific Energy apart from some of the other solar companies? And it sounds like that full service team is one of those critical components.
Oh, yeah. I would say it is our commitment to customer success. And our commitment to seeing that solar is successful on the island. Service is not a profit item for us at all, but we're committed to taking on supporting systems that we didn't install to make sure that we're really being good neighbors. We're really partnering with the community to see that this is successful. We can't continue to go on the trajectory that we've been going on as an island and in using diesel fuel for our power. We have now grid instability, so you're not in control when your power goes out. So we really want to see it being successful, and that really means when you become a customer of ours, you become part of our family, and our commitment is to see that you're up and running, so that your lights don't go out. And that the savings that you invested to get, that they really materialize.
I think that's excellent and important, and you're right. solar is tremendously helpful in leveraging, for your home or your property, giving you those options to have backup batteries and things to leverage it so that you don't have grid instability and you've got consistent service.
Yeah, and to reiterate on that point, we've taken on servicing outside systems because we receive so many phone calls every week, desperate customers wanting to get their system back up but can't get support from either because the original installer went out of business or service isn't their priority. And I'd say that's one thing to really be careful in evaluating who you go forward with solar is making sure that they really do have a commitment to taking care of you and they have a reputation that proves that.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. As we're kind of winding down, but, one of the other things I wanted to ask is, as customers are looking at this, and you talked about some of the things they should know, what are some of the fine points, if they've been doing their due diligence and looking at different companies, what's the key thing you'd like them to know about choosing solar for their home or business when they're looking at so many different options?
Yeah. Well, first, as we're really trying to push, in the islands collectively to get to better sustainability, our rooftops on our homes and our businesses are one of the best places to invest in sustainability. We've got square footage, the land, the space there to really make a sustainable investment. In fact, there's really no other investment in your home that can provide as great a long-term value as going solar. It gives you power over when the lights go out. It's an investment in saving our island, our planet. It protects you from spiraling energy rates. And with some of the financing products that we have now, you can get in with no upfront costs, monthly payments that are lower than your current electric bill. And by the time the system's paid off now, it's printing money for you as you can have, low to no recurring monthly bill. So it almost makes no sense to not go solar. It really is an investment in your financial well-being and in our island's well-being.
Great point. Well, tell everybody, Drew, how they can get a hold of you at Pacific Energy.
Absolutely. Our phone number is 808-280-8135. And our email is sales, SALES, at Maui-solar.com. And, feel free to email us, call us. We'd happily run the numbers for you so you can see for yourself the impact that solar can make for you and or your business.
Awesome. And what's the website?
Oh, it's Maui-solar.com.
Great. Awesome. Well, thank you, Drew, so much for being with us on the show today. We truly appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, and have a great day, and thanks for all the work that you're doing to service our community.
Oh, thank you so much. It's our great pleasure, and blessings and aloha to you and your team.
Hey, thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. Mahalo. You too. All right. Well, I'm going to just share a quick notice with you about Business Matters. This year's event, it's our annual fundraiser for the Maui Chamber of Commerce, and the funds we raise support our small business efforts and economic development and recovery efforts. And just it's a time where there's so many needs. So this is a great way to get involved with the Maui Chamber of Commerce. But this year with Vintage Aloha, we're going back to like the Pan Am days of Hawaii. It's going to be, all the events are themed and fun, but this is going to be a really cool time. We're going to have some amazing talent. Last time I mentioned Joe Chi, who's going to be entertaining us during cocktail hours. We've got Maui Productions. They are an amazing, colorful, and delightful production company for all occasions. With 30 years of professional production experience, they are one of Maui's premier Polynesian entertainment companies with their world-famous Polynesian dance and music spectacular, which honors the tradition with a modern flair to create memorable experiences. Their clients include the Maui Visitors Bureau, many cruise ships, resorts, retail centers across the island, and Kumu Keone Manual and their unique all-ages production features exciting cultural dancers of the Polynesian Triangle. They celebrate the various cultures that influence Hawaiian culture through a little bit of fun, where audiences can gain an appreciation of the entertainment and the rich history of Hawaii. And then after a phenomenal dinner, this is going to be at the Grand Wailea Resort and Spa on March 29th. After dinner, after great entertainment and cocktails, we're going to close the night with Nuff Said. They were founded in 2002 and started with a small group of friends who shared their passion for music. Over the years, they've evolved into a dynamic band known for the ability to blend various genres and create music that represents with a wide audience in Hawaii. They strive to create fun and engaging atmospheres for everyone involved, leaving lasting memories to all who experience their music. Nuff Said is led by founder and Lahaina resident Joshua Kahula, whose passion is promoting unity and positivity through music. This is evident in every note that he and the band plays, and their music is a testament to their commitment to spreading love and support, especially in times of need, which Maui has gone through a lot of tough times, but we're here to celebrate and come together to make a difference, and they help us do that one song at a time. So to get more information on how you can be a sponsor of this event, if you're a business or even if an individual wants to sponsor, they certainly can do that. And tickets are on sale now at mauichamber.com. And I just want to thank you all for joining us today. We've had a great day. I hope you've learned something new and enjoyed the show. We do need to let you know that we're normally rebroadcast on Friday, but as Akamai Broadcast is making programming changes, we will no longer have that segment spot available. So please join us again next Tuesday at 7:05 for Business Matters. Until then, we want to send great blessings to you and your team and best wishes for a wonderful week. Ahui ho!